There. We are live with the one, the only Ramy El-Batrawi. Ramy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for getting my name right. So I guess you said it enough times. Most people don't know how to spell my last name or pronounce it.
I know how to spell it and pronounce it, and I hate it when people, but I don't like it when people call you Rami.
Yeah.
In
But
fact,
they do do
I
that. Yeah,
correct
they
them.
do.
I'm like, no, it's not Rami.
But if you're in the Middle East, it's the right way to say it.
Oh, it is?
In the Middle East, but we're in America. So
So, Ramy, for the two people left on planet Earth that don't know who you are, and have not read your book, look, Joe
game
Ingram
on
says,
them.
"Hello, Ray, me."
That's how people, the way he spelled it, that's how people remember my name and say, think about how they taught you how to think do, re, mi, fa, so. Just say Ray, me.
That's it. It's easy. So we have Darlene. Look, Linda Ann Barber, who's a dear friend of mine out in Colorado. She has read it twice. That
Oh,
is
thank
awesome.
you, Linda. Hopefully you
Here's
got
the
a ton
book.
on.
Can you really think and grow rich? And Ramy, we're just gonna. And by the way, Craig Doswalt's gonna hop on here with us because I want to introduce you and Craig. He's gonna hop on here in a few, but um, that's a nice green screen you have of the Hollywood Hills behind you. By the way,
Yeah. Yeah, it is actually the hills, which I love. It is actually the way it is right now. The sun hasn't set yet. I love the summers because the sun doesn't set to almost 9 o'clock.
look, there's my buddy Vinny Chopra who lives up in the San Francisco area.
Yeah.
I have, in fact, I tried to get Vinny to come down to your event there with for the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Yeah.
So
I
Jeff,
love San Francisco, but it's just like 20 degrees cooler. And I just don't like being cold. But it's a
yeah,
great city.
I've never been there.
Yeah, it's like a little mini New York, but cooler. It's just
Really?
yeah. San Francisco is great, and there's a ton of money now because Silicon Valley's around the corner from there, and it's just and everything kind of starts in San Francisco. You conquer San Francisco, you kind of conquer the rest of America. That's where Uber started, where everybody wanted to conquer first San Francisco before they expanded the rest of the country. So it's San Francisco is cool.
Wow. You would love Vinny. They call him Vinny Smiles
Mm-hmm.
Chopra. Like cuz he smiles like nonstop. He's
Kind
he's
of
in
smile.
he's incredible. You guys would love each other. And he is a huge real estate syndicator, like big time. Big time. And we're
Cool.
welcome to go to his house. See, and he's got a nice house up there too.
So what's a real estate syndicator?
He puts together real estate deals and buys these 65, 85 million dollar properties with groups of people that are investors. And I mean, he's got a couple. I've seen them. He's got a couple of properties that are unbelievable, like
Hmm.
small cities.
Cool. Well, maybe he might like our project to get involved with. So maybe it's something we'll talk about offline. You love what we're doing.
You can't talk about that though, right?
I can probably after next week. I'll be announcing it because we are partnering up with the city now.
It's I know all about it. It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So you remember Jose Garza?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jose?
Uh, hey, he kind of got the pictures with everybody, Willie and everybody else. He was all over the place. But
Yeah.
he's got a great face. You know,
Doesn't he? He's
very
awesome.
photogenic.
Yeah. So look, Jose said real huge talking about your project. Hey, Nick Ogilvy, by the way. So here's the deal. Nick Ogilvy was on my show this morning, and I told him about your unbelievable home in the Hollywood Hills. Literally, if you put the cap on that water bottle and threw it somewhat hard over that fence behind you, you would hit Tim Allen's house.
Yeah.
Like it's right there, right?
Yeah.
And Stevie Wonder lives up over your right
Yeah.
shoulder. But I told Nick that I said he owns this really amazing company out of Texas that does turf. They do, and it looks real. It looks like real grass, but it's not. It's unbelievable, dude. And I said, you need to go do Ramey's house, and then he'll blow you up. He'll tell everybody about you. So
yeah, what's really big now, it's growing really fast. I know a whole bunch of people have to invest a lot, is these dog parks everywhere. So
yes,
they're great for dog parks, and because they last and last. So it's really good.
look, Joe said, okay, so Joe Ingram drove up from Orange County to meet me when I was there. and so I said, dude, Ramey's not answering his phone. Nobody's answering their dang phones. Let's just drive up to the house. So we drove up to the gate before you get to the gate that gets to your gate. Like, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how to get in this gate, so I guess we just go back to the hotel. So that was.
I don't know why I missed you that night. I must have been like, I don't know what time you got in.
Look at this. We got Craig Duswalt joining us. Craig, meet Ramey.
Hey, Craig, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
Good. I want some of those guitars behind you to.
I know. I got a couple of guitars back there. Yeah.
Love music.
What are you guys doing?
We're hanging out and talking. And Craig has written. How many books have you written, Craig?
10.
10 books. So
yeah.
Craig knows how to get reviews. Here's the thing, like Ramey's book is one of, if not the best book I've ever read on.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard amazing things about it. Let me talk about reviews for a second. Yeah. I wrote a book about touring with Guns N' Roses. Sometimes it's not good to get reviews.
Yeah. The funny thing is, if I had the time and really did push my book the way I can, like I sold 50 million books for John, kept him number one for 6 years, but I just don't have the time to focus. I'm hoping that it just kind of grows on its own. People see how much it benefits them and everything. It'll just kind of grow.
I think there's a snowball effect. Yeah. Once one person starts, reviewing it, and then it just like snowballs,
Yeah, it just because I really truly believe it does help a lot of people. If people take it to heart and use its principles, and I took it so much like one step further than even with Think and Grow Rich, because I experienced this, and I had 28 additional principles that I laid out in the book that from real life experience to really get people to get what they really want out of life. So it's like if it's not a roadmap to success, I don't know what is. And that's what I was trying to give people without making it too heavy. So it's an easy read. You can knock it out in a day or two, but you read it over and over. But if you really follow those principles that I've added from mine and what I do from Think and Grow Rich, there's no way you don't make it if you believe it. It just there's no way. I just don't know how.
You know what? I have a theory, Ramey.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear my theory?
Oh, I love your theories.
I'm a little nervous right now.
My theory is most people don't know what they want.
No, it's a big thing. It's not only they don't know what they want, they also, when they do know or they decide what they want, they think too small. They think they're so limited because of what the world tells them they can have. They're stuck to that. So I think that people are just way too polluted by other people's opinion and world opinion and what they have.
It's funny you say that, Ramey, because until about 6 months ago, I'm going to say, Ken and I were thinking too small, and I think COVID, for me personally, I understood. I finally, after 16 years of speaking, I finally understand my worth. It took a while, man, and now Ken and I are on some we are just is so excited about our new program, and we're thinking like you have thought for a long time. And I can't wait to read your book. I need to read that book before we do our event.
Yes.
Sure. I hope so, but it's just like I don't know how many guitars you have on that wall right now behind you.
5.
See, you could have thought there, if I could just get lucky and get just one guitar, you would have just had one guitar.
Yeah.
The guitar, that's it. You wouldn't gone beyond like saying, I want to get a collection guitar, get 5 guitars,
Yeah.
So that's how, basically it's the same thing with everything else. If you're just thinking about one guitar, that's all you're ever going to get.
Yeah, and I have like 5 more in the other room. And
Right.
I got gold platinum records, and I got a lot of crap.
Right. But you see, that was a passionate thing for you, right?
Yeah.
You see, building burning desire, make it a passion. You make things happen. I mean, when you started, I don't know if you thought you were going to get all the memorabilia. No, but you made it a passion, and because you did, you found those things. It came to you. You found opportunities to get those things.
Yeah.
So this is why I kind of preach the same thing with life and business. Once you make it a burning desire and decide this is what you're going to do and want it, it just kind of presents itself, and then you just had to take action. You took action and bought them, find ways to get them. So
and here's the other thing. I think the hardest thing that people have, and I have this, and I know I have to change my state, a Tony Robbins thing, is getting started. It's like writing a book or doing the first one is always the hardest. But once you do it, you realize, oh, okay, it's not so hard, and then you can do more and more and more and more. So the first one is always the hardest, and I think that's where Think and Grow Rich deals with how to get started and how to have the right mindset.
Here's what separates Ramy the billionaire from like, he has this 1987 De Tomaso that he had it completely rebuilt, shipped over from France, had to put a couple $2.5 million into this car. I walk in, he's like, you couldn't hear it run on the Zoom, right? I said, no. And he's like, get in. I'm thinking, get in. And he's like, get in. And so I'm like, he goes, if I can get in there, you can get in there. So I get in, and he goes, now the keys are in it. I'm like, what? He's like, just start it. I'm like, start it. So I'm like, okay. So I all right, I'll do it. So I put it in neutral, and he's like, it's been a month. Keep giving it gas. I'm thinking, oh my God. And I stop. And he goes, what are you doing? Keep going. I go, I don't want to run the battery down. He goes, just keep going. So I'm like, and he's like, oh, you're almost there. 3 feet from gold. Keep going. And I'm like, oh my God. And there's an audience of people around. It finally starts. But anyway, like Ramy.
Now, how great was that sound when you finally started?
Oh God, it was unbelievable.
And
then he's like, here, get in my convertible Bentley and start it too. I'm like, what the hell?
All right, so I have guitars and I have books that I've written. Ramy, how many cars do you have?
Well, I'm not that big on this. So I just do the things that that special car was because I owned it personally in 1987, and I was homeless before I bought that car. It was my first reward for making the 50 video.
Oh.
So, and I love convertibles, so I have that Bentley convertible. And then at times, I pick up people at the airport, so I have the Bentley, which is
Stretch.
It's Stretch, it's Silver Spur, because it's a great car. When I drove it, I did buy one for John also, the convertible. But
he bought a convertible for John Gray. Bentley.
And then my wife, she loves Porsches and she loved the SUV, so she got the Cayenne. So that's all. I don't have to go beyond that.
Oh, good.
I might one day collect. I love like the
Hold
56.
Hold it.
No, I saw pictures of the garage. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget about the 1,000 Teslas you just ordered.
Yeah, well, that's for the company. That's
a business thing.
Yeah, that's a business thing. But I get the things that I know. Like, I'm happy. Like, all I need is one jet. I then had 7, but one jet is plenty.
Yeah.
One house is plenty. I don't need to get 35 homes and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. It's like I get enough. So the rest is just for now, making more. Keeping score for building things, create jobs, do stuff that. But I do enough to where I live up to where I'm really happy that I don't need anymore. So it's good. But I get the best of everything because I do enjoy the best of everything. I did.
So I think my point was Ramy is not afraid to lose everything.
No.
Not afraid. I mean, not in any way. Like, okay, so Ramy was talking, and I forget what it was, but I said to Ramy's wife, I said, hey, I need to borrow your Bentley convertible. I need to run down the road. And she goes, the keys are in it. And I go, yeah, right. I told Ramy about that later. He goes, I wouldn't have cared. And he meant it.
And actually, like I tell you, when I park or out in the streets, I leave the keys in the car. It's more convenient taking it out, fumbling this big key. But I don't think anybody will ever think that they can hop in a Bentley and just take off, push a button and go. So, but if they do, it's okay. There's others.
You got crackheads down on Hollywood Boulevard watching us right now, going, "Oh, that guy!" No. Wow.
No, but it's fun. It's always great. You live a happier life when you live without fear, and that's why I keep on trying to teach people is it's not only is a freedom of just not worrying and you're smiling, even your friend that smiles all the time. You know, when you have no fear, you're always happy because you're not afraid of anything, and also the confidence that it gives you. Oh my God! I mean, you walk into any place, the strength and confidence because you are the alpha male. The strength that you have by not having fear, you know, it doesn't matter how big the gorilla that you're dealing with or whatever it is, because you're not worried or afraid about it, you know, or afraid about poverty or afraid about anything. Then the confidence and strength and freedom. I mean, that one thing alone makes you the richest man in the world. I mean, you just like you feel it every day, and no matter about what you have, what you don't have, you have no fear. Then life is just like.
And I always think,
amazing.
you know, what's the worst case scenario, right? Like, so we had a big house in California, and if we lost everything, because we have no fear either, we'd go to a nice 2-bedroom apartment in Studio City, California, and we'd probably be closer to the kids because they'd all be in one bedroom and we'd be in another. So like the worst case scenario is not so bad, you know? And then that's what we have to say to ourselves. You know, we get one life. You get one life to make a difference in this world and do something and leave a legacy. And then why live in fear? And like, I know Ramy's story. I think you've lost twice, right? Lost everything twice.
6 times.
Oh, okay.
And he was a billionaire and lost it all.
Get it. Yeah.
But also, you gotta get rid of offer, even like death. Like people, like one of the biggest fears, people dying. It's like nobody's gonna get away from dying. I mean, billions and billions have died. Everybody that's living today will die. You know, if you die at 50 or you die at 80 or die 100, it's basically the same goddamn thing. When you think the universe is how many billions of years old, the world's billions of years old, you know, and we're one speck in our galaxy, and there's trillions of galaxies, whatever. I mean, our life, it means nothing that you know. So fearing to die at 50 or 60 years, to die is just part. It's going to happen. You can't get away from it. So why be afraid of it?
No one gets out
of
here alive.
In any way, be afraid of it. You know, do something about it, but you can't. Yeah. So you can't even fear that. So at the end, just there's no reason to be afraid of anything. So that's why you can live life more fuller and take more risks and more.
Amen.
So you know, if you could, you know, I was watching, believe it or not, I just introduced Courtney to Roots yesterday. And it was such a great show. But I remember those guys in Africa before they were happy and they had nothing and they were really happy because they didn't know it much better, you know. And then they came to America and they became happy because we were slaves. But basically, it's more like people in Africa was absolutely nothing. And when I was in Santo Domingo and went into the areas where they had no running water and tin roof, and they were just dancing on the street with music. And, you know, they were happy, so you can be happy and be confident. You know, it's what you decide to fill your head with. And the problem was having knowledge of the internet and everything. Now you know what you're going to have, so you become more unhappy because you don't have it. So unless you get yourself to a point of really going after it without fear, then you'll be unhappy. So,
and you know what? We all have to
be ignorant or don't go for anything. But
and we have to enjoy the process too. You know, you guys were talking about that the other day. Yeah, it's great to get there, but if you're not enjoying the process, see, that's what I love about speaking. I actually love being a speaker. I love running a mastermind. You know, it took me like 45 years to figure that out, but you know, I love doing that. So I love the process of putting on events, the process of, you know, coming up with new things to talk about. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. The same way as I love building businesses. I couldn't go. Nothing is more fun than structuring a business.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle. You get this employee, this financing, do this, do this.
Buy 1,000 Teslas.
Yeah, all this. The journey of building, and it's so much fun. And that's why a lot of people like me, who was a serial entrepreneur, once I built it and I know it's going to be really successful, I just want to sell and move on to the next thing, to the next challenge.
That's great.
Because it's just like, okay, now I got it. I did it exactly the way it should. Now it's growing. Somebody can take it from here. So looking at some of my companies that went public and I don't own anymore, that I handed off, it's living. It's almost like raising a kid, and now it's turned 18, you just let it live its life, but you gave it life. You made it, and it's so much fun. Even till today, when I create a business like you just did, Ken, with the cards and stuff, just having the first dollar come in, somebody paid for what you just did.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. It's just like, okay, I create something that did generate money, or created jobs, or
and it's writing your first book. When I wrote my first book, the first, the boxes came with the books in it. On opening that first box of books, amazing.
It's great. I know somebody just asked when I'm going to write a second book, and I don't know, that's going to be a little bit longer. First, I'm going to let everybody digest the book. My whole concept was, at the beginning, what I was going to do was to write 3 books. One was this first book that gave everybody the knowledge and everything else, and gave them enough to inspire them to achieve greatness. The second book is going to be a lot more detail and depth, because it's going to be, if you don't get the first book, you won't get the second one. So this actually gives you much deeper roadmap. So that's later on. But the third book is going to be like, I have 48 years of unbelievable knowledge and stuff, and I believe in so many things that really propel me even more. And it's so hard to really comprehend it unless you get the first 2. So actually, on the third book is going to be, you have to take a test for the third book. If you can't pass the test after reading the first 2 books and living a little bit, you can't buy the third book. And it's extremely expensive. And it's going to be on a tablet that, as you read it, it erases, so you can't give it to somebody else.
I love that FOMO.
So the third book is going to be for,
you can't have it. No,
you can't have that book unless you get the first 2 and pass the test.
Hey, everybody's asking where to get your book. Go to kenwalls.shop. It's in the top row on my Amazon store. That's the link directly to my Amazon store. And yes, I need to disclose that I do make a small, tiny commission from Amazon if you buy it from me. Ramy does not pay me for that.
Yeah. By the way, if you don't want to let Ken make any money, just go to my site, Ken You Really Think and Grow Rich, and get it. And Ken will make a dime. So
do that.
Stuff at
do
Ken,
that.
do that.
Yes, do that. No, don't go to his site.
But do leave a review. But people are too lazy to leave reviews after they buy the book.
So listen, I want to bring that up. So just so you guys understand, that when you leave a review, it actually helps the algorithm. If you bought the book and you read the book, please go leave a review on Amazon. It doesn't have to be a long review. Just
like a 1 sentence. That's what, what it is, Ramy? I think people get overwhelmed, because I deal with this all the time. Overwhelmed. Oh my God, I got to leave like a perfect review. It's got to be perfectly grammatically correct and all that stuff. And it's got to be a paragraph long. Otherwise, Ramy's going to be disappointed that I didn't live a good review. No, just say, even if you just said, I really love the book, Ramy is awesome. That's it.
Hey, you guys chat for a minute. I need to go get some water.
Okay. So seriously.
And even if you don't do that, just hit the 5 stars or 4 stars or whatever you think of the book. And don't say anything.
Right. But I think people just get overwhelmed that they have to, and this is writing books or starting a business or doing that, they have to do it perfectly. Otherwise, they don't do it. Right. Just like we just said, write 1 sentence, just give it 5 stars and be done. And that just starts the process. But people have a lot of things is, where do I go? Where do I go to write the review? Do I go to Amazon? Do I go to Ramy's website? Where am I going? We have to, tell people exactly where to go.
It is an extra little effort, but it's good to kind of let the world know. But it's true. It does work in the algorithm and people see it. Yeah. And more people say that it's great that more people want to buy the book. And again, you hardly make any money on selling books on Amazon or anything else. But it's just, I do want to get the information out there, because I do want to see people shift the way they think and not be victims in life. I see way too many victims. I meet them every single day. you know. And I personally carry like books in the trunk, and when there's so many homeless people here, when they come and ask for money, I usually give them the book and the guy says, read this book.
Hey, Ramy, do you have like bulk sales? Like, for example, I have an event coming up in October in Los Angeles, like not the thing that Ken and I are doing, a real event with like 250 people. Can I buy like a bulk books and I'll just give everyone in the audience a free book?
Yeah, you just
and it's in Los Angeles. Ramy, you need to come and speak at that event.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love that.
If you're back from.
Yeah, when is your event?
October 13 to 15.
No, so it's like after Orlando then.
After Orlando, yes, sir.
Yeah, I got to see also when that event is for the Napoleon Hill Foundation. They have that committee meeting. I think it's end of October, so I think it'll all fit in. But yeah, if you can get, if you don't have my number or email,
I'll get it from Ken. That would be great.
Yeah, you can have as many books as you want. I think I had like 25,000 printed, and I can.
Yeah, because I would love to give that. Just give it to the audience. I like giving them gifts.
Yeah, me too. I love giving. Like when we were at the house here, I think we gave away like 100 books. I had 100 books here. Just gave them away.
Hold on.
Oh, Ken's leaving.
I got the hardback version, and Ramy wrote me a really, really, really nice comment in here.
What did I write?
I'm not gonna read it. I don't want to embarrass you.
No, you won't embarrass me. I forgot what I wrote you. I know I like you a lot, so it must have been.
I always write. I write rock on. That's it. That's not my name.
No, he wrote to Ken, someone I regard highly and a friend. I truly believe you will succeed in a big way.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
So awesome.
Okay, Ken has he does this every day. He's getting fed all this information all the time, and you can tell by his personality, how he interviews, how he does that, and that he gets it. That he's going to come up, if it's whatever he's doing right now or something else, but with an idea that'll blow him up, and he'll know what to do with it. He'll be able to handle success. He'll know where to shift, how to think bigger when he gets it. So I'm just dying to see where Ken's going to be 5 years from now, because he'll probably be coming my neighbor right next door, having his own cars or something.
No, he's moving to Dallas. He's moving to Dallas.
Where it is, he'll have his plane parked next to mine, and but Ken has that capability, because not only does he think that way, and he's come through some struggles, but he is exposed to you, me, and everybody he interviews, and he takes it in, and he doesn't sit there. And so actually being in his spot, doing a podcast about this, you're feeding yourself this information all the time. So now it'll become your dominant thought, and it is true. Whatever you think of most of the time, you'll become. And this is making you think of this most of the time. So there's no way that you're going to end up not doing something amazing with your life. So that's why,
Ramy, we have, and thank you for your unbelievably kind words and endorsement, and I accept it wholeheartedly. And yes, I will give you a ride on my plane, and I won't charge you gas money for it. But can I tell everybody what you and I talked about Craig and I's event that you?
Sure, absolutely.
So Craig and I are doing this private mastermind. It's a 12-month deal. I know I'll be able to convince Ramy to pop in once in a while on our monthly meetings. But
thank you,
Ramy. We already have some unbelievable speakers, including your good friend John Gray, who's just freaking unbelievable. So we have John Gray, Glenn Morshower, James Barber, who's watching right now. James Barber, who was the Phantom of the Opera. We have Lee Steinberg, who the movie Jerry Maguire. He's the real life Jerry Maguire, #1 sports agent in America. We have all these amazing people coming to our private retreat. And now Ramy said he's going to try to get there, and it sounds like he's going to hopefully be able to make it. So that'll be just icing on the cake if you make it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, but I'm 80% sure. Again, it all revolves on the business deals that I'm doing. But
Sure.
I should be there. Oh, thank you. Somebody bought my book. Whoever LinkedIn user is, I don't have his name.
LinkedIn user.
Yeah. Hey, if you just bought Ramy's book, make sure that you put it in the comments, and we will put your name up on screen, and Ramy will say thank you. So, but make sure that if you buy it, after you read it, go leave a review. If you have anything less than a 4-star review, don't leave a review. Go away.
No, I want people to if they don't feel that it's at least 4 stars, I want to know why.
You know, let me share this. Let me share what happened. So I wrote a book about. That's good. Look at that. I wrote a book about touring with Guns N' Roses, right? And it was Welcome to My Jungle. It did very, very well. Right. Literally, because of my mastermind group, I have a lot of people in my mastermind. I asked everybody when they bought the book the first day it came out, they all bought it the first day, to leave a review. I got 129 5-star reviews, and everyone called bullshit on me. The other reviews were like, there's no way that this guy can get all these great reviews in one day. This is a scam. You wouldn't believe the reviews after that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything weird. I just had my mastermind leave reviews. So it's weird. Yeah, even when you do good, people will still try to bash you.
Oh, I know. It's also jealousy, or you gotta find something wrong. I mean, there's always a fallback. You know, you're always, one day you're a hero, next day you're a zero. Yeah. I mean, it's just like no matter and the bigger you get, the more then you become a target. And there's enough haters out there that just hate you.
They're hiding behind their keys on the internet. You know.
That's why, like I said, if you let go of everything, don't let it bother you. I don't care. That's why, I don't
you
mind
just had the Phantom of the Opera buy your book. Look at that, James Barber.
James. You're gonna love the book.
Wait, Ken, what's the site? Ken's what?
Kenwalls.shop. It takes you to my Amazon store, and just click on books, and Ramy's is in the top, literally right next to mine.
I hope that's above yours.
It's next to mine.
Okay, on the right or the left?
Yes. You'll have to go look, Ramy. Jeez. He's like, I said it's after mine, and he's like, what do you mean after yours? It needs to be the first one. Oh my God. It's literally after mine.
My book isn't on here. What the hell?
Yes, it is.
It
is? It isn't?
It might be way on the bottom or something.
It could be. It could be. I think I added yours a long time ago when I first met you.
That's all.
When is our mastermind? It is October 4th. We check in on the 4th. We rented 2 mansions in Orlando, and we check in on the 4th, and the event starts on the 5th. If you go to turnitupprivatemmm.com, if somebody would type that in the comments, turnitupprivatemmm.com. That's, you can find out all the details. It's $12,500 per person, and that includes the entire year. That's all inclusive of everything at the retreat, food, drinks, everything. Look at James Barber. He is on it. Wow.
I know you did it on purpose, Ken. I mean, you did it all the way to Orlando, the farthest spot for me to fly my plane. So it cost me $300,000 just to get you a retreat.
Oh no!
You can do it in California or in LA. You have the mansions all the way in Florida, the opposite side of where I'm at.
I know.
But you said you were going to be in the area. That's why. That's literally why we did it there.
It is true. He did say that. He thought that you were going to be near there.
The only reason I would be in that area is if I'm on the way to Guyana on the way.
But see, here's the thing: is since you have the largest wide-body private jet in the world, Ramy, it kind of is in your neighborhood.
Yeah, it's true, but the gas costs more.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right. Oh, look, Craig gets a free flight back to his California event.
Exactly.
Hey, Ramy,
I'm going all over. I'm going there, then there.
So I honestly, because at Ramey's event, it was Saturday and Sunday, the Napoleon Hill Foundation, he had Don Green there, who's the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, who endorses the crap out of Ramey's book, by the way. When the Napoleon Hill Foundation endorses your book, like, you're doing something right. And then Ramey has a special plaque at the Napoleon Hill Foundation in Virginia. Like, it's insane. But he had John Gray there. I mean, Willie Galt who played in the NFL for how long?
Chicago
11
Bears.
years.
Yeah.
I got my picture with Ramey and Willie. But so Ramey took everybody. First off, Ramey has, Craig, you would love this, being from the music background you have. Ramey has a show called 27.
Oh, I know. And that's a big thing in the music industry. All the stars die at 27.
Yeah. And that's his show.
So bad.
They did a performance on his tennis courts on Saturday at his event. And then he took, well, first you took everybody to the plane, right?
The concert was first.
The concert was first. Then you took everybody to the plane, to his plane, and let everybody tour his plane. And I saw people laying in the bedroom in his plane. He's got a master bedroom with a king mattress in it. It's crazy. Like a kitchen,
and a shower,
it's unbelievable. So,
again, I wanted to inspire people to see what's possible from Africa. You can get that. And I really actually had people come out and cry and then realize that this is a possible way of living, to have things like that. So it was cool. So I love it. Like, I'm sure we touched enough people that made it all worthwhile that weekend. I hear so many people, and I've seen like so many people post things on Facebook and they tag me on it. So people did really enjoy that, which is really, really great. I mean, all of it was done for the foundation. The foundation raised, really good amount of money from those auctions and stuff. And there was people, it was flattering that, people paid like $6,000 just to have lunch or dinner with me that next day and stuff. So it was all to go to the foundation. I love what the foundation does. It helps education, put people through school and stuff. And it's all a nonprofit. So, and Don Green is so honest and selfless. I know that whatever money comes in, he does spend it on what he says he spends it on. So it's like he's a banker and everything else. And so I love, it's one of the few charities I would trust to raise money for. But so that's why the whole thing was all about doing this for Don and Napoleon Hill Foundation and stuff. But it was great. I mean, I love people's reaction. They stayed there for like 3-4 hours just taking pictures and stuff at the airport.
It's crazy.
It got dark by the time they were all done. It was kind of fun.
It's absolutely amazing, and I missed that
because the next day. But you'll have the experience pretty soon. You'll like a visitor. It's
we have a little airport nearby. I don't know if you could land it there though.
Probably.
It's small.
You know what's amazing about Amazon? I just bought Ramey's book. I bought the hardcover, and it's going to be here tomorrow morning.
What?
I swear, it's insane. Amazon.
That's because you don't live in the middle of nowhere like me.
Yes.
Well,
it changed. Like when the book first came out in September, there was such a paper shortage. It took a month to get the book. But now
I'm getting it tomorrow.
Yeah,
crazy.
And that one, you know why you got the hardbacks don't get there tomorrow now? Because that's a better hardback. I made all those hardback and I didn't do the self printing. And I shipped it over to Amazon, so they have it in stock. So they there wasn't enough paper.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The paperback, I also sent them some, but I don't know why they're not showing the paperback that I'm selling it for less than what Amazon is. But they won't show that one, so that's being printed by Amazon. But it's
okay.
I'm glad you bought the hardback. But
I got the real copy.
Yeah, you got. We spent a lot extra on that hardback, but it's a really cool book. I only made like 2,500 of them just. But so you have like a collector's edition.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. And I'm like number 64 out of 25.
Yeah. And you can get Ramey to sign it when if Ramey's able to make it to Orlando.
I hope he
Ramey, instead of spending all that money on fuel, just hop on Delta.
It's one of those things. I've been because my plane's been down. I'll do it. I don't mind, but once you have it, it's just.
I know. When I toured with Guns N' Roses, I have to. This is like every seat was a first class seat in our plane. We had a plane, and we went everywhere first class. It is so hard to fly in coach. I don't. So what happens now? Because we love our kids so much, I guess I can't fly coach. So my wife and I first class, but my kids fly first class because I don't want them in the back of the plane. It cost me a fortune to fly because the stupid Guns N' Roses.
God.
But it's a convenience. You know what it's like not to have to go through security or anything. You can drive through the airplane, and even if you fly in other countries, customs come to the plane and check you in. You have your cars waiting there. The car's waiting when you land. I mean, they treat you.
He can't fly commercial ever again. You can't fly commercial ever again.
No, how could you go to an airport that you have to wait online, customs, security?
Yeah,
I could carry anything I want on the plane. Nobody will know.
Are you allowed to walk onto your own plane and say bomb?
Yeah, I could do it. I even stand up and don't wear seatbelts and use cell phones. So it's just like
that's awesome. When I was with GNR, they let me, seriously, I think I told Ken the other day, because we had the big bar area in the middle of the plane, and so everyone drank. They let me go into the cockpit, and at 36,000 feet, I sat in the captain's seat. Now, I'm sure it was on automatic pilot, but I have a picture of me flying a 737 jet.
That's what's great. Like my pilot will let anybody go sit in the seat or whatever, and then take off. Wow. It's a blast. It's just a different way. I got that with Khashoggi when I first got there. I was so amazed when I first got on this plane and said, I definitely have to get one. But again, the plane is not only for the convenience and the pleasure of the way you travel, but for me, because I've learned how to make it a business tool, that plane will generate so much money just in the deals that I close all across the world by having it. So it is. So I don't look at it as just a throwing away money. It is actually a business tool. One deal I do in Guyana, one deal I do anywhere, pays me $100-200 million commission, pays for the plane for the rest of its flight. So it's definitely, you got to look at everything as a business.
That's awesome.
Myself.
Love that mentality, man. Love it.
And Ramy, are you and to answer James, yes, I won a trip on Grant's jet. When they called to schedule him to pick me up, I said I'd rather spend my own money, fly to Miami and sit with Grant for 3 hours or a couple of hours. He gave me 3 hours, but and pick his brain about my business, and that's what I did. So I did not get on Grant's jet, although I won the trip and I have the video to prove it. But Ramy, are you allowed to talk about the thing in Guyana or not? Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that. I mean, basically, English Guyana, which nobody ever heard of until a few years ago, is a little country. It's the only English-speaking country in the north, in South America, and it's just next to Venezuela, and it's residents 750,000 people. It's got the greatest rainforest. Most of it is rainforest. But a few years ago, they discovered the third largest oil reserve in the world. And now it's become one of the richest countries in the world. They'll make $100 billion a year just in the revenue. So all of a sudden, they just have it's a fourth world country that has a whole bunch of infrastructure that needs to be built. And that's what I did with Khashoggi in a lot of parts of Africa and stuff, and Saudi and things like that. So now I'm going to be working with the president over there to build everything from airports to roads to hospitals to deep water canals. So they need all this, and they have the money, and the whole world is now descending on them. But to say I don't mind the competition, because I know exactly how to
that's great
deal with that and go in there. Because if you think about it, for the next 5 years, they're going to have $500 billion, and what you could borrow off that, and what you could build a whole country. And the president is very smart. He's even had a Facebook, and he knows what to do and how to spend and build this country up. And he's not shy about spending money. I mean, he's been spending billions of dollars this whole year just building a whole bunch of roads and stuff and making their population richer. So I'm there. So my mission is to go in there for the next 5 years and help build a hell of a country out of what he has.
That's amazing.
And from that, I'll make my billions. But again, I'm giving back, so the country is going to become really great. So
wow.
Love that.
Yeah. So I'm doing other things too in poorer countries. Like I'll be going to for Africa and Ethiopia. I'm going to build a $1 billion desalination plant because they have no water over there.
Yeah.
So there's different. So I'll be doing that's what Khashoggi did. Just travel the world, made deals, and became the richest man in the world. So that's my end goal. I'm going to replace what he did. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hunter
I just
Biden.
saw that. I just saw that too.
Yeah. Are you laughing at me, Ken?
No, somebody said Hunter Biden is booking a trip there now. So here's what's amazing to me about you, Ramy, and just hanging out with you, and I mean, literally, I was hanging out with you while you're talking to people about kind of the Shark Tank situation when you were talking about whether you might invest in their company or not, and you think on a way different level, like way different level. And you don't think about like, hey, how can I go help the homeless guy down the street, which I'm sure you do. I know you do, because you go hang out, you walk through the homeless areas quite often, you told me. But you're like, hey, how can I go help build the infrastructure of a country? Like, who thinks? And oh, by the way, yeah, that's right, I was homeless, but who cares? I can help. Like, you think on a huge level.
But even when they're homeless, I'm not thinking of helping one or two. I want to help them all. So I'm actually, what I'm going to get back and what I will build in the next 5 years, you'll see it start, is I'm going to take and build a whole city that fits 500,000 people and bring all the homeless there, re-educate them, and do everything. So I'll take all the homeless from everywhere around the country, and all the governments and everybody wants to move them, and they'll help transport them there. And we'll have people give their time, like doctors who will give like a week every other month just to fly in there to be there. So it'll be a really charitable thing. But that's the way to really help the homeless, build a whole city, create jobs from that city, but re-educate them, give them homes, build up their confidence, and then send them back out in the world, and be that way. But a little bit here and there is good. But there's about 300,000 homeless people in America. So that's why I was thinking a city of about 400,000 takes care of America. So it's
Wow.
it'll be an interesting project, nice way to give back. And once I start it, it'll be the thing that I'll give back.
That's what and if I know you can't talk about the other project. I mean, you have so many. But the one that we were just talking about a minute ago is freaking unbelievable. I mean, absolutely mind-blowingly unbelievable what you're talking about, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I have one that I've been looking at for the last 20 years, and I know it's $1 trillion project. I'll make $1 trillion doing this. It'll be the most valuable company in the world.
Wow.
And I was introduced to it 20 years ago, and I almost did it, but then I had to go through my whole hell with the government and everything else. But it is something that I saw it, and I knew it was going to be huge, and I could tell you about it. But because he was making more money building it for the U.S. government, that the government was paying him $75,000 a unit instead of $200 for the commercial use, that they focused so much on the government that the government now is on the board of this company and everything else. So the U.S. government is now taking advantage of this technology when this could be $1 trillion for everybody else. If you really, just the way the government had GPS, and now they released it to the world, and now how you can live without GPS today and stuff. But I'll tell you, this is the most brilliant idea, and this inventor, I have to give him kudos, Woody. Imagine this, and and think about how big this company will be. He's the one who invented the earphone. He invented the cassette recorder. He has 56 inventions. Wow. But this one is the ultimate invention, and I am going to buy up all the patents and work with him and build this thing up. But he learned, and you could Google him. He learned how to focus sound. He invented how to focus sound. So he could focus sound as thin as a laser beam. So like if you're in bed and you want to watch TV and your wife is asleep, you could focus the sound to where you only hear it and she doesn't hear it. You could put it in every single television set, every car, above each seat. You could hear a different channel if you want. You could focus it like in a computer, it'll just beam the sound right to you. Nobody else hears it around you. Put it in every ATM. It's the most brilliant invention that could be in every single electronic, everything. It's the most amazing thing. It's just the way he figured it out, and the sound is created in your ear, so it doesn't matter how far you are. That sound, and you could have true stereo where one thing plays in one ear while something else plays in the other ear.
Wow.
But because he showed it to the military and he could create sound levels that cripples you, that military actually uses it on their ships now. So if they go on a ship, they focus that sound and everybody is doubled over because of the pain from the sound. They don't have to fire a shot. And they can create like fake troop movements behind you, so they think that there's troops coming from behind you. So it became a military application instead of a commercial application, and they've like put them out of the company too and everything. So this technology is sitting there to be blown up to the commercial use that they've ignored because they're making so much in the military that. So I don't know why I just it, but it's something I've been thinking about. But I've decided I'm going to go after it. Because I think it's a huge company. It could be in every television ever created, every car, every airplane, everything, every phone. You can put it in the phone and you can talk on speaker. Don't have to put an earset, and you're the only one who can hear. So it's really, and you can make it as wide as you want, as thin as you want. It's just you can cover the whole couch or just focus on one person.
My gosh,
it's the coolest fucking technology, and it's been around and it's just been buried by the government. But I think I'm gonna take it and commercialize it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I just told the world something I should have thought about. Somebody else is gonna go grab it before us. But it is definitely would be the next $1 trillion company coming out. It's there's nothing.
That's like you started so Ramy, and I mean some of this is in the book, but like you saw that Uber drivers and Lyft drivers weren't able to get cars. Maybe some of them had bad credit and all of the things. So tell everybody what you did about that.
Yeah, I just started buying cars and renting them to subprime guys to drive for Uber and Lyft. But as soon as they drove for Uber and Lyft, they were making enough money, but it gave them jobs. So most of our drivers came from like Compton and stuff, so you know what that's like. If everybody knows California, but it was cool because they got brand new cars and then they were able to get a job. So I created a job and a car, and then Uber won because they didn't have enough drivers. They were recruiting so many drivers, and Lyft won also. So again, like in my book, I say you got to create a business that's win-win for everybody, or you just don't do it at all. So this was a win for Uber, win for the public, win for the drivers, and create jobs. So that company did really well, and then that went public. So it's
Charles Coachman said it's about time Ramy does something big.
When you get to the point where you think like I do, it just feels like a waste of time when you do something small. It's just like you only have so much time in your life, and I get a million ideas every night. If I did everything I thought about, it just be like I wouldn't have time. It's just
what drives you to take action on some of them? And because I think a lot of people have that, right? A lot of people have great ideas, but most of them never come to pass because they don't take action. What drives you? What are the factors that help you determine like, okay, this one I'm taking action on? Like EV mobility, you have that with all the Teslas all over the freaking world or US, and like what drives you?
I look at different criteria. One is if it's the right time and play. Like EV mobility was the right, because Tesla is blowing up. Everybody's going electric. Every OEM car makers announced they're going to be all electric until 2030. So I know electric was going to be the future. And then I was trying to figure out how to get into that market. And then one of the things that really drives me is, does it scale? If it doesn't scale to billions of dollars, then I'm not going to bother with it. So it's one of the big things, because I know I can take action in anything. So if it's a company, like I'm not going to open up a restaurant down the street because I know the limited amount of what I was going to do in that restaurant. If I discovered McDonald's like Ray Kroc did and realized you could franchise and make tens of thousands, or started Starbucks or something, that's one thing. But having a little restaurant or a little boutique shop, that's like, is not gonna do it for me. That's a lot of time that I don't have. But if it scales, is the number one thing. And two, then is it a win-win for everybody? Does everybody win if I do this? If it's something that I think anybody's going to lose, then I don't do that deal. So win-win scales. Is it worth my time? Because I could do so many other things, and it doesn't. I don't think. Oh, do I know this industry? Do I understand it? It doesn't matter, because I always can hire people who understand it. Because all business and everything is basically common sense. How to put it? You got to buy low, sell high. So if I don't understand it, like I know nothing about technology, but I could hire million programmers. I could hire people to run the companies that I do, but I can understand the concept. If it makes sense, then I know how to bring it and blow it up.
Yeah, why aren't you on Shark Tank as an investor? That would be cool.
Yeah, I know. I guess I was never invited, but I try to keep a low profile for a while. But I do know most of those guys. Mark Cuban is a good friend. I met him from Thomas Sterling and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'd rather invest in I have enough ideas. I don't need to take on somebody else's.
Do you find it hard? This is a kind of serious question, because you have so many ideas in your head all the time. Do you find it hard going to sleep at night?
Oh yeah, I sleep only like 3 hours a night at best.
Really? That's what you do?
Lot.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have to take 2 Ambiens and 2 clozapams to do that. So if I don't take anything, I'm awake. I stayed awake 2 weeks once, not without 1 week of sleep.
I'm kind of not as bad as you, but I'm kind of the same way. I have so many ideas in my head, and they all hit. Like, my creative time is late at night. Yeah. But when I try to go to bed, and because I'm in creative mode, oh my gosh, it's like an overload. I have to watch TV to get my mind off of sleeping.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have to take the pills and watch a movie or something that gets me just to be able to fall asleep, but then I will wake up. But it's worse when I figure out, like, I might have a million ideas, but once I decide on one, then it's even worse, because I'm thinking of a million different ways of how to make it work, and all the possible things that might happen, and all those. But you gotta be like a chess player. You gotta think 20 moves ahead of every single possible scenario that business is gonna take you. So it's one thing I'm thinking, but boy, when you grab hold on to one, then you definitely don't sleep.
Oh, I know.
You're in execution mode, and how you're gonna make this work.
So Ken and I are doing this new event. Seriously, we're on the phone like 12 to 15 times a day. Just putting everything in place, and then I lay down at night, and I have 500 other things that we want to do. I don't have enough paper near my bed,
But that speaks also back to where we were to start at the beginning, where if you decide what you want, because you decided, if people think and get their mindset to, I want to build this, those ideas flow. There's something like tuning in your radio to the universe, and then the ideas will come up, and you just have to execute.
Yes.
So anybody can achieve anything they want in life. It just, they have to decide they want to do it, make it a burning desire, and tune in. And tell me, the universe gives all this information, and it's out there. You just haven't tuned in right. I mean, how do you think Einstein figured out the curvature of the universe? He was a physicist or whatever he was, and he was thinking about it, and he got the answers. It hit him. All his equations came because the universe gave him that information. So it's really, or Marconi, or whoever invented anything, they thought about it so hard that information came in. Or Henry Ford, when he thought about building cars, and he created the assembly plant, he thought really hard. It didn't just come up like this. He figured out, I have a team that just built tires, and team that did this. He thought about these things and he figured out, and he had no money, and he started this thing. So it's really your mind, and the universe will feed you everything in your mind if you just open yourself to it, because it's all out there. They just say, I don't know how to get started. First think about it, make it a burning desire. It's amazing what comes up. Then you just take action on the things that do come up.
I mean, and it's it's like the thing, the Turn It Up mastermind we're doing. Like, Craig called me, we talked about it, and we had no idea like what we were going to make it. We didn't even at the moment have the thought of doing a retreat with the mansions and all of that. It was like, it just, the more that we kept thinking and talking, and we're still coming up with ideas every day. Like having Ramy El-Batrawi show up and speak.
That's a great idea.
That was in the beginning, though. So
that was in the beginning, actually.
Yeah.
James asked the question: how do you guys? How creative do you guys while working out? Who says we work out? What? What?
Yeah, right. Here it is, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled. This is so funny. I Googled when you were talking, Ramy. I Googled Woody because I heard you say the name Woody, and I Googled Woody sound, and it came up.
Yeah, and it talks about binary sound, focusing sound, and everything else. So, yeah. It's there, but nobody's taking action on it. So I've decided to.
That's interesting. That's so good.
Yeah, because he has a TED Talk. If you look for his TED Talk,
I saw it.
It's right here.
On there.
Yeah, if you listen to his TED Talk, you'll be blown away. I mean, he was on his way 20 years ago, but it got changed direction because of and he actually, because he was here in San Diego, and I was going to invest in his company, but then that's when all the government stuff was going to happen. I've been thinking about it for 20 years, and I just thought, you know what, maybe it hit me like the other night, you know, because when I was listening how, you know, the first $1 trillion company was Apple and all that, I said, you know, I could build $1 trillion company. What can I build $1 trillion company? And that was that what came up. I remembered Woody. So now I know where he's at now. I know how to reach him. I know how to go after it. So
that's so good.
That's worth the effort because it's
something else about Ramy and Craig. You'll learn this when you read the book, but I'll have him give you the kind of the preview of it. When Ramy had built, he built a lot when he was working with Adnan Khashoggi, right? Did I get it? Adnan Khashoggi.
Right. Yeah,
God, I got it. So Ramy at 32 or 33 became a billionaire, and then 9/11 happened, and a lot of other craziness happened, and then the U.S. government literally came after him, and all kinds of craziness, and it's all in the book, and you need to read this book. It's unbelievable. But Ramy was trying to take it public, one of his companies public, and the SEC sent him a letter finally after all these hoops he had to jump through, saying you're approved, you can do it. And then what was it, like the next day or 2 weeks or something?
It was NASDAQ. Yeah, 3 days later they rescinded the letter. Yeah,
they rescinded the letter. So Ramy said it pissed him off so bad. Can I show him?
Yeah, I never sent it to him, but I cooled down after a few days.
So Ramy
like Abraham Lincoln, write it and don't send it. Yeah.
Ramy got so pissed off that he thought, how can I best tell them what they can do with that dumbass letter that they sent me? So he printed up not one, not two, but an entire case of toilet paper with the letter printed on it, and he was going to send it to everybody at the SEC.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
This is what you can do with your letter.
Oh my God. That is so awesome.
Is that awesome?
Oh my God.
No, I was going to send it to him, but my attorneys convinced me not to do it, but I might need them one day or something.
Right. Never burn a bridge, right? I know.
Now I got to think 20 moves ahead. I said, okay. I said, maybe one day I'll send it. But
that is so
it's
good.
sitting in my closet.
So he shows me this. We're standing in his office out of his house, and he tells the story. And there's a couple other people standing there. And he shows me this roll of toilet paper, and I go, I gotta have that. You know that, right?
Wait, seriously, how many rolls do you have of that?
I have about 1,000 rolls.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I want one.
You got it.
I so want one. I just think that is so brilliant.
Yeah. Is that awesome?
I used it and wiped my ass with it a few times at the beginning.
Oh, that is great. Oh, I do these, Ramy. I do these outside the box marketing ideas. I somehow I'm going to incorporate that in my talk.
That was it. I found people. I googled who made toilet papers and what cost of toilet.
Oh,
this is that made.
Oh, that is brilliant. I've never seen that.
Craig, share your envelope idea with Ramy.
Oh, okay.
Craig came up with this It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I'm listening. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Tell him.
So I hate cold calling, as most people hate cold calling for their business. So what I do is I have regular business number 10 white envelopes, and I put, like, if I want someone to sponsor my event or come to my event or something, or I just want to get in touch with them, I write their address, on the back of the envelope, and then my return address. And under my return address, I put my telephone number. Right. And I lick the envelope and I mail it to them. And they open it and nothing's in the envelope. Right. So they're like so curious of what I forgot to send. They're looking at the envelope and they're like, oh, good. He put his return address and his telephone number. So they call me up and say, hey, Craig, this is John Smith. And I just got an empty envelope from you. And I was just wondering what was inside. Very smart. Nothing was inside. I just wanted you to call me because I have this great event coming up. And one of two things happen. Either they get mad and I'm like, dude, you called me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Or two, they go, wow, that's really good. And then, they're a client. So I have like 250 of these type of ideas that I teach in my seminars. But that's one of my favorite ones.
No, that's a really great idea. But speaking about it, you know how you could send your mail for free?
How? Oh, junk mail. Put it in the junk mail envelopes.
No, this is better yet.
What?
You don't even have to buy any stamps or anything. So you put your return address as your address, but where you want it to go as your return address. So they'll return the mail.
Oh, that's
to the
so
return
good.
address because there's no stamp. So you just got your envelope mail for free. I tested it out and it does work.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So man, I need to have lunch with you one day. That is
my God.
Not as good as marketing, but you can get free mail that way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
but I have to tell you how big, which remind me, is how big Adnan was. Because somebody wanted to find him, and I saw it personally because nobody had his address and everything else. And somebody put Adnan Khashoggi, the world. And believe it or not, that letter found him in Saudi Arabia.
Oh my God.
How did they put Adnan Khashoggi, the world? That's how big he was in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow. Wait till you read this book, Craig. It's going to blow your mind. And I'm
getting it tomorrow morning. Did I mention that?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Amazon's boxing it up right now as we speak.
Yeah. The good thing is you'll get a lot of it, but you understand it, so you'll get the depth of it, and it's really something you read over and over, and you'll get something
Think
new.
and Grow Rich a few times too.
Yeah, you see, I read it 100 times, so I wanted to model it like Think and Grow Rich, because he wrote first his success 12-volume thing that nobody wanted to read 12 volumes, so he condensed it all to one book. Then everybody bought Think and Grow Rich. So, but the thing about Think and Grow Rich I loved is that every word was gold, and every time you read it, you picked up something new. Different times in your life, something else was different. You picked up something new. Yeah. So I did the same thing with this book. I took a year writing this book with this English professor and stuff because I dropped out of high school. My grammar's for shit. But
well, that makes you a better writer then.
Right, but we collaborate in there. But I made sure every word meant something because there was too much information. So it's only 177 pages with pictures, but I'll tell you, it's you can get through it in a night, but then when you reread it, you'll get something new that'll just change your life. So it's really,
what I teach people.
There's one of the pictures in there. That's his wife.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
like very nice.
Yeah,
she's beautiful.
The whole thing about shorter books. We all have the attention span of a flea. So these shorter books are the way to go. You've basically, like you said, every word is gold. You've cut out the fluff and you made it like just right to the point. Oh, there's the plane.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I before we move on from this topic, I gotta say his wife, Courtney, is not only beautiful, but she is a beautiful person. She's just so sweet, so nice.
Yeah.
And she watches all my shows, so that makes her even nicer.
Courtney loves you. She's an amazing person. Courtney is. And again, with the principles of all those things, she had to reject me 100 times before she finally said yes.
We've all had that.
Yeah. But again, this is one of the things I do explain. Like, if you approach business like a person you fell in love with, that amount of passion and burning desire to have that person, and do the same thing, use those feelings, do the same thing after a business, you'll get past all the rejections and then win at the end. There's no reason why everybody can't win. It's just you just have to decide they can, and I like that one meme somebody said. It says, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right also.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I
So
love
It's
that.
true.
really,
It's true.
it's all the way. Everything is just the way you think. I mean, it's just, people could be in my position, or all these homeless people or stuff. If they thought differently than I thought, this was why you don't make it and stuff. I mean, and the reason I waited to write that book and I took those pictures even 5 years ago, I was literally totally broke 6 years ago. I had nothing. I was in the streets, $21, just coming out of mental institutions because I was going through withdrawals, totally nothing, and was able to rebuild everything and more in 5 years because I made a decision that I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And I was back to thinking clear. And so it doesn't matter of age. I was 55 at the time. So I started 55, totally broke, with everybody thinking that I would never make it, didn't have a dime. And I was literally in the street, and there's a picture of there was me barefoot, was $21 sitting in the streets, and I was able to build it back because I had that confidence. And other people who were in that position would give up on life. That did it. That's it. Homeless. I'll just do whatever to just to survive. But that's not the way I thought. And once I got clear and I was able to think the way I really thought, I just knew 100% without a doubt. And that's why I started taking pictures, documenting, and that's why I wanted to write the book after I made it. I made plans. I said it was going to be 5 years, and I wrote down hundreds of pages of how I was going to do it, and I followed everything I was going to do and never gave up, and was able to do it as fast as I always, because I felt that I wasted 15 years was battling the government and all those drugs. So I wasted my most productive years, 40 to 55, and I said, well, I better make up for lost time. I'm making now the productive years, which is
Awesome.
which is now nothing to me. Nothing. I'm now have so much momentum, which I don't know. You know what? I should have showed you here, Ken. Which I died laughing when I saw it. It is so funny. I got a letter when I turned 60 from the U.S. government, says you can retire now, $1,200 a month. I said,
yeah.
I just when I'm even thinking about retiring, I'll never retire. But thanks for the $1,200 a month. I could really.
You're like, that won't even pay my electric bill.
Yeah, but it was like, it was so
crazy.
funny that people do really think about retiring at 60 or 65. You can keep on going forever. But I was just starting and I got a retirement letter.
Wow.
Yeah, I just turned 60, and my wife thinks I'm retired because I like playing golf, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever retire. I'm going to work till the day I die.
Why not?
But it's just like, what else is there to do? And you get older faster. If you don't think, you start atrophy, and the average person dies if not that much longer after they retire. So, I mean, I look at Carl Icahn. I mean, he's 85 something. He's still a corporator and works his ass off, and he enjoys it. And he told me he'd never retire. What he's going to do? Lay on the beach and stuff like that? I mean,
Right. What
enjoy
do you do? Right.
Do you know who Carl Icahn is, Craig?
No.
You never heard Carl? Oh man, he's on the news all the time. He's I think the 8th richest man, or he's the richest man in New York. He's got $20 billion. He's a big corporate raider that went after a TWA, all those things. I mean, he's the most hated guy or feared guy in Wall Street.
How do you spell his last name?
Icahn, Acahn. Icahn. Yeah, I must have heard of Carl Icahn. They made the movie Wall Street after him.
Gosh. Oh yes, I know. I know.
Yeah,
I thought we said something else. Got it. I know who that is.
Yeah. So there's a great story in the book about how I got to him and everything and everything else. So it shows you that you can get to anybody and do whatever you want. So, but Carl Icahn is interesting. But
and the first deal you did with him was worth $400 million.
$4 million, yeah. For not knowing him, just but it's a funny story. It's worth reading the book just from that chapter or the chapters Khashoggi.
That is a good chapter.
Yeah, well, I'm getting the book tomorrow morning.
Good. You gotta love that. I love that part.
Really, I didn't know that.
Also, that's living without fear, because just give you a brief synopsis. That guy I didn't know from nothing, and I just found where it was at, just followed him everywhere, showed up at his house, stayed at his house without him knowing, and then showed up at breakfast. Didn't leave until he closed the deal. But
he threatened to call the cops on Ramy, and Ramy's like, "You're not going to call the cops."
Yeah, I have your copy. Yeah, and this was one of the most powerful men in the country. Yeah,
that is crazy. I can't wait.
But you can't be intimidated. You can't worry about anything. You're as great as anybody else.
That's right. They're regular people. They're just people. They're just people.
Yeah. And you're just like in part of Think and Grow Rich when they talk about, and I took a lot out of it. That little black girl in that book that went after her mother's boss, and he wouldn't pay her the 50 cents for doing that laundry, and she went to that guy with total confidence, says,
Yeah.
"Mama wants and needs that 50 cents. You better give her whatever." And he was stunned, and he gave her the 50 cents and walked away. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. It's how you present yourself and the
That's
attitude
right.
you have, because you'll break anybody down. Like, I never get into a physical fight, but boy, I've been in situations. But because of my attitude, everybody backs down.
Good.
It's just the way you carry yourself.
That's
People
right.
don't know, you're the alpha. They'll back away. It's just they'll follow you too, and that's how you build leadership too. It's just people want to follow people with confidence and stuff, or what they show. And the reason, I mean, I do this a lot, and you can Google this yourself. Google a picture of Martin Luther King and Google a picture of Jesse Jackson. Look at the two, and it both was a Rainbow Coalition, and you'll see Martin Luther King you would follow to the end of the earth, because his attitude, his look, even his resting pictures, you want to follow him. But you Google pictures and look at the pictures of Jesse Jackson, you wouldn't follow him to across the street. I mean, that's why he did nothing after he took over, because he didn't earn that position.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King died. He gave it to Martin Luther King. Believed in what he was doing. He was a true leader, and he earned that position of leadership. And people followed him. They showed up. 300,000 people showed up in Washington without any phone, internet, and he brought presents and stuff. But if you that's just a perfect example. If you look at those two difference, what they both achieved in life and what they're going to be remembered about, and that's the attitude. It's the way you carry yourself. And again, not to bring a negative example, but he is a negative example, but he achieved great things. He almost took over the world. Is Hitler. If you took a picture of Hitler, and I don't condone anything he did, and it was wrong, and he killed so many people, but the reason why the whole German population followed him and did anything he wanted, look at his pictures and how he spoke, and they would have followed him to anything and do anything for him. And he came close. He was the closest to ever come to conquer the whole world.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, he was a negative man, and the world, good will triumph at the end. But it's that kind of power of attitude that you have that brings that leadership quality that get people to follow. So it's just, and you could see it in their face, and you don't know why you're following them, but the magnetism, the strength is what people want. People are followers. They don't know, they're lost. Why do you think cults come around and people are following religion and Jesus? They're looking for something because they don't know themselves. They're lost. They want to be led, and they want to be guided. And if they find somebody that is strong, then you have it, and you can become a true leader. And this is why, but it works in life too. That's why you can build great businesses, do things, and people will give you money, do whatever you want if you show total confidence. But if you're a weak man and you show that weakness, they could sense it like a dog. They'll sense it weak, that you don't have your shit together. And so that's why I could raise all the money I want, because the way I approach people when I raise money for deals, people want to be part of what I'm doing. They don't know why, but they just want to be part of it.
Well, and a lot of people come from desperation. This is it. This is my last chance. If I don't get this, then I'm done. And you're dead.
People will see right through it. And that's why that's another thing about living without fear. When you get rid of the fear, when you do approach it, like you think when I 5-6 years ago, when I was done with being homeless off those drugs, I didn't have a dime. But do you think I approached people like, help me? This is my last chance to come back. No, I went like I was already a billionaire, and and I had people invest in me, and that's how I rebuilt everything, because they saw I got back to the leadership quality, and people want to be part of whatever I was going to do. It's and I was totally broke, so you don't have to have it. I was in the streets, and I had people following me and giving up what they were going to do just to be part of it. They sacrificed everything they had to be part of what I was doing, because they believed in what and those were strangers, because all the people I had in the past, they abandoned me when I was broke. They thought, oh, he's a failure, he was done. So I had to start all over from scratch.
I bet they're kicking themselves now.
Oh, they are. Then now they're calling me. Oh, can we hang out? I say, I don't think so.
All right. Right. Bye-bye.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I understand the way the world works, and I still feel I understand the way it works. I'm not ever bitter about any of it.
Right. But
It's
you
just the
know.
way of the world, you know. So all of this was like literally when I was like died in the book, it showed, and I was dead for 20 minutes, and I was in a hospital. As many people as I helped, and the thousands of people, and they traveled with me in the airplane, you know. There's only 2 people that ever showed up in that hospital.
There
That
you
was
go.
my present wife and Willie Galt. Everybody else didn't even bother coming,
Wow.
calling. And my wife at that time was calling everybody. Oh, Ramy is going to die. Nobody showed up. Nobody
Yeah.
called. It just is. But that was
Wow.
it. I said,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it is what it is, but we know
Yeah.
who the true friends are and the true people are, and
Yeah.
you don't burn a bridge, you're not bitter about it, but you just
Well,
know.
I mean, I gotta say, like Ramy does. One thing I know about him, he doesn't take things personal. He goes after and he doesn't give up. He goes after whatever it is he wants, and he doesn't give up. We've been talking about going live again, and I've been really, 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 really I've been busier in the last 2 weeks of my life than I've ever been, ever. I'm not sleeping. And so then I was off the other day really bad. I ate something that I shouldn't have, and it threw my entire system into an uproar. I was scheduled to do a live stream with Ramy, and I said, dude, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm in a lot of pain, and he's like, no problem. And then and of course I'm busy, and so hey, when are we going to do a live stream? Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it. He doesn't give up, and he doesn't take it personal. He doesn't like, oh, Ken doesn't like me. It's not that. Like, you know what I mean? He just keep following up. Let's go. Let's do it. And we did. And we are. And
getting rid of the drama in your life. No drama.
No drama.
Yeah,
No
drama's
drama.
and people will bring drama to your life.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
it because they want you to suffer with them.
Yeah. No.
But
I've gotten rid of drama.
That's why I love living up here in the hills. Like you have to be happy with yourself. I could be alone and I'm just happy. I don't need to do anything else. And now Courtney, my favorite days and stuff is just when I just hang out with Courtney and not be bothered by the rest of the world and stuff. Because I'm happy enough. Confidence. I like myself. So I learn more from myself than I'll ever learn from somebody else. At this point, and nobody really adds very much, But I enjoy the world. I like being social, and I want to do things with others. But I see the greater good of what humanity can be.
Yeah.
But it's still to the basic core. People do think of themselves, and if it comes down between you and them, they always choose themselves, which is okay.
Oh, of course,
because it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
well, I listen. I love both of you, but I have to choose my family. They just got home a little bit ago.
My wife is waiting.
My son's on a flight right now from LAX to DFW, so I got to go to the airport soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was really great. It was fun talking to both of you. I definitely want to do something here.
Ramy, very nice meeting you, sir. Very nice.
Same here. And Ken, always great. I love the way you interview. But by the way, you make everybody you interview like they're special to the greatest person in the world.
He's great at that.
So you're really good. You get lost in the moment, like if I like everything, and you focus on that person, and you make them feel like the best that they can possibly do.
He's the master.
I love people.
Yeah.
I love people. Most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it reflects it, the way you treat people, the way you talk to them. I don't care how small your person you interview or how big, you treat them exactly the same.
Absolutely.
And that's right, because I'm the same way. I treat the valet the same as I treat
Absolutely
Saudi Arabia. So
you better be nice to the people on the way up, because you're going to meet the same people on the way down.
That's right. And you've met the Prince of Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, I met all the
king.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Again, we choose that world. That was just the world I was in, which the world I'll be in again pretty soon.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
all right. Well, Ken, go be with your family. Me too.
All right.
Yeah.
Once again,
all right.
meeting you, sir.
Pleasure.
Hey, thank you to everybody watching. And Nick, thank you. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you to everybody watching. And if you shared this out, thank you. If you did not share it out,
I've heard what you said last time.
You're right.
Don't watch again. And
everyone come to Orlando. I'd love to see everybody on this call in Orlando. I think that would be awesome.
I know it's going to be a special weekend. And if you guys haven't ever heard John Gray speak, and I know you did an interview, it's worth it alone just to get there and see John. I spend so much time. He is connected to the universe like nobody else. And in that event, he'll speak differently. Like I've heard him do 100 different talks, and everyone is different because he connects and understands what's in the room, what he needs to accomplish, and he could go on for all days and days. And the wisdom and knowledge he brings and how he touches people, it'll blow you away. I mean,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I mean,
Corey's going to be there. Jose's going to be there.
Yeah, when he at his height, we booked Carnegie Hall. He's sold out Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
You know, and he's doing it because he does love Ken, and he spent some time with him at the house here. So he wouldn't fly or do things, and he's doing it for Ken. And it's a special thing to see him, and he's gonna be he's amazing. So you'll enjoy it, and with everybody else too. I'm just
and you, hopefully you.
And hopefully you.
Yeah, if I'm not in Guyana, I'll be there.
Sounds great.
If he's not off saving the world. Ramy, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Craig, I appreciate you. This is awesome. Guys. And everybody go get a copy of this book. If your life sucks, get a copy of this book. If your life doesn't suck, get a copy of this book. This book will make your life suck less. And you know that everybody knows somebody who is always complaining about their problems. It's always complaining about this or that or whatever. Get them the copy of this book and give it to them. The next time they complain, hand them that book and say, read that and don't ever complain to me again.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're not going to take action to change your life, stop bitching.
Yeah. Mic drop.
I'm sorry. Anyway. Don't leave, guys. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'm going to end the live stream. Don't leave. I know you got to go to the airport. See you guys. Have a great night. Bye.